Truly, David says, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. That's a big statement. It seems like one of those Bible statements that we just read right past. It's sort of a theological, poetic kind of statement that we read right past. But if you really think about it for a second, truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. It's a big statement. It's powerful. It's asserting a lot of really important things. And it's even more powerful when you realize that David, who wrote this when he was under attack, when his life was being threatened. He gives voice to that in the following verses. He talks about how there are people who are after him, people who want to see him fall, people who are actively trying to destroy him in a variety of different ways. He doesn't give us the context in which this is happening, but he's telling us very clearly that he's in distress. He's being threatened. He's under attack. Now, I don't know about you, but when I feel attacked, I take matters into my own hands, typically. I don't sit back. I get to work. Rest is not an option when I'm being threatened. But David is being threatened, and his counterintuitive strategy here is to rest in God. It's very counterintuitive because that's not our instinct. That's not our impulse. When we feel threatened, when we feel attacked, we want to get to work. But David says, I'm being threatened. I'm being attacked, and his strategy is to rest in God. In other words, he's saying that it's not his work that secures him, but God's work for him. It's who God is for him that secures him, not his work and what he can do. And so it got me thinking about rest and work and the implications of living life as a broken person in a broken world with other broken people, and how that ongoing threat, that ongoing fear seems to promote work in a way that can cause exhaustion. When we hear the word workaholic, for instance, we typically think of the corporate suit who spends 90 hours a week at the office. We think of someone who can't enjoy any other facet of life because they're so obsessed by their careers. And since that doesn't describe most of us, we typically think that we're not guilty of workaholism. But workaholism is much deeper than that. And to be honest, we're all workaholics when we look at it from another angle. There was an article published a few years back in the Huffington Post entitled, "Busyness is a Sickness." And the writer says this: in America, we are defined by what we do, our careers, what we produce. It's the first question asked at parties and often the first tidbit of information we share with strangers. The implication is that if I'm not busy doing something, I am somehow less than, not worthy, or at least worth less than those who are producing something. I think the writer is dead on. Think about the word busy for a second. Okay, just that word, busy. Over the past decade or so, the response to the question, how are you doing, has changed definitively from, I'm fine, to, man, I'm busy. We say it all the time. I find myself saying it all the time. Me, you, everyone we know is busy. And we're not just saying that, we are busy. Crazy busy. Constantly busy. Busy with our personal lives, busy with work, busy telling people how busy we are. We're busy people living in a very busy world with other busy people. We are addicted to productivity because the more we produce, the more valuable we are. Worthiness is synonymous with production. However much we may complain about how overbooked our schedules are, exhaustion has become a symbol of righteousness. So much so that there is a level of shame attached to rest. I read this statistic a while back that the United States leads the world in unused vacation days. Leads the world. To take a break is unrighteous. This is one of the many reasons, to be honest with you, I'm not terribly worried when people complain that preaching grace promotes laziness, which it doesn't, by the way, okay? That's a caricature. Oh, if all you do is talk about the unconditionality of God's love and the amazing nature of his grace, people are just going to get lazy. That's not true. That's not what actually happens when a heart is gripped and grasped by the grace of God. When our hearts are gripped and grasped by the grace of God, by the unconditionality of his no strings attached love, what we end up saying is, take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to thee. Take my moments and my days, let them flow in ceaseless praise. Love from God promotes love for God and love for other people. He's got your life, my life, and everything in this world in the palm of his hands. That the future of this world is not riding on your shoulders. Thank God.